What's up everyone, Voodoo here, and I'm here today with the next in this video, the raid bosses for Nerebar Palace. Next is Princess Ky'veza. Now I actually don't have my own footage for this one because of reasons, so we're using the footage graciously provided by Atreyan whenever he went through and did this, so shout out to him. I'll link his Twitch and the actual VOD in the description. We'll go through, talk about build, and then talk about just go through the fight and talk about tips and stuff. This one shouldn't be that long. I don't think this fight is very complex in terms of what you're actually doing in the fight. It's more just a do your movement and kind of live fight. So we'll talk about that, and yeah, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be doing Silken Court the week after, and go from there. So let's get on to it. All right, so this is the build you'll be using. Honestly, pretty standard stuff, nothing too crazy here. Darkness CD is going to depend on when your raid wants it. Darkness is actually really good during the suck phases with all of the portals going off, because that's a bunch of ticking damage. So if you want a 3-minute darkness or a longer darkness, obviously you'll start dropping points from Flames of Fury to pick that up. You know, grabbing Pitch Black if you want it shorter, or Long Night if you want a 3-minute a longer duration. Honestly, shorter is almost always worth it. This is a pretty bad talent, but it is what it is. And then if you feel like you need more defensives, you can always come down and grab Demon Muzzle. Now the thing with that is that Demon Muzzle does work with Sigil Misery, but we are holding Sigil Flame for our burst windows with Essence Break. So generally speaking, you don't really need the DR during your Essence Break, but if you feel like you need a little something, you can come down and grab that like this. But again, we'll just say general here and recommend this here. This is the build, nothing crazy, you know, this is just kind of the generic single target build. The boss is pretty high uptime. There are some phases we have to get off, just single target, no ads, pretty chill stuff. You can play I wouldn't play Reaver. I mean, sure, you can play it as in it's playable, but don't play it. Just stick with this. Only real modifications are going to be on this side here if you need to change around some things. Again, because it's a single target boss, you might be able to drop some stuff to come down and grab Live by the Glaive, but it's not really a big deal, and it's not going to change much. You could drop this and just come down like that and go off with it. So there you go, that's that. One more thing before we actually get into the fight, I want to talk about trinkets. So in a lot of fights you do see I recommend Transmitter. On this one I actually wouldn't if you're also playing Mandate, but just in general. Transmitter is one of those trinkets where, yeah, it's really good, but obviously there's a lot of things that can go on and go wrong with it. And often when you use this trinket, during your Essence Break combo, it'll happen during a suck. During that suck, you won't be able to realistically grab this transmitter that much, which means that you're going to lose a lot of value on it. On top of that, it actually does push it so that you actually lose a Mad Queen's Mandate cast in this fight due to just the fight length. I guess it's going to depend on your fight length, but generally speaking, you'll probably only get 2 of these, or sorry, 3 of these instead of 4. You'll lose a cast. It'll push you out so that you're going to end up losing a Mad Queen's Mandate cast, which obviously is not where you really want to be. So I wouldn't actually recommend Transmitter if you can. I would recommend something like Contract. It's probably your best other option. You can also grab Sack Brood or the Crystal from Mythic Plus, and those will generally be your other best options instead of Transmitter for a single target fight like this. Now again, Transmitter still very powerful. If you don't have Mad Queens, you still can use it, but it's just going to be a little harder to use, especially on this fight where a lot of things are going on. As kill times change, maybe it's going to be a little bit better, but for now, if you're just progging it, probably stay away from it. All right, so here we are with Atreyan's video. Again, shout out to him. I just don't have the footage of this, but this is a pretty straightforward fight. It's just going to be about playing safe and getting your damage windows in when you can. So generally speaking here, you're not going to save meta, just use it on cooldown. It should be that every time you leave the intermission, you're going to end up having a meta charge, which would be pretty good because there's not a ton that happens once you leave intermissions, which is nice. So melee don't get these, but these are the portals, and this whole fight revolves around placing those in proper positions, which you'll see all the ranger doing. So there's going to be one on each of these little spokes of this wheel. The tanks also will end up dropping one, so if you're tank, you're going to drop one as well, and then each of them will end up pulling you away. You'll see these orbs also come out whenever you get hit or drop a portal. You'll spawn those. We'll see those later. And this is a great time for darkness. So you can see here, Atreyan does end up dropping darkness in the middle, which is where they get sucked to. It is actually pretty safe to Fel Rush here as well. The suck is strong enough that if you Fel Rush between a portal, like you see Atreyan do here, so Fel Rush between a portal, you'll just get sucked right back into the middle. Obviously, be a little careful with it. The portals do activate in different times, so be a little careful. But you know, nothing too bad. So here we get the other mechanic, which is going to be these things rush towards you. So on Mythic, there's going to be a very specific pattern to do these. Now, I think the best strat is the strat my guild did, the strat their guild did, is the first one. This happens twice. The first one, you're going to go 2 markers over from wherever your ad is. So a train's ad is this one. He's going to do 1, 2, and stand on this marker. Everyone else will do the same, and you'll get a bit of a clockwise thing going around there. The reason for that is that some of these ads have masks on them, and those need to hit the boss to get dispelled, which will then cause a damage amp on the boss for a short amount of time. And if you don't get rid of all the masks, you blow up and wipe. The second one, we'll show it off after. You'll see they all go through the middle, which will clear the rest of them. Now, the big important thing, this is going to be a very dangerous moment. When this hits you, you get a dot put on you, which will then shoot out orbs. You saw those orbs happen in the first phase. A train here does the right thing, and Havoc's defensive's blur is good enough where you can push it right as this thing's about to hit you. He puts it right here, and it will last the whole time because this dot hurts. It does a big hit to you, so blur is very useful there. It's going to tick down, and then at the end do another big hit before shooting out all the orbs. So if you watch him here, it's going to go boom and explode. Now you see that his blur fell off a bit. There's 2 kind of camps to do it. You can blur the initial hit and then you don't get it for the last big explosion, or you can blur right after the initial hit and you do get it for the last explosion. Both are fine. The damage is pretty comparable. Generally speaking, I think it's a little safer to have it while you're outside of the pack rather than inside, but it can go either way. Now you'll see that once he gets hit here, he does go in. This is very safe to do. You go in for 4 or 5 seconds, and then once these daggers start to happen, you can just run out, place yourself away from where all the daggers are happening, and get your orbs off, and then go right back in, and at this point you'll have another essence break combo. So again, don't be afraid to fell rush here. Be a little careful of that one. I probably would have fell rushed off to the side a bit more. Don't want to get stuck in these portals because you'll die instantly, but you can just be careful of that one there. Here is the second one. So these ads are going to spawn there and go along these spokes. So you want to be standing in a spot where they won't hit you. So right here is a good one on any of these flat surfaces of all these trapezoids, I believe. And then daggers come out. So see on this fight that he's using Vengeful Retreat basically on cooldown, which is very good. You want to be doing that, obviously. The only real time I wouldn't use it is during daggers or during intermission. Now you can in intermission, you're going to be assigned in different places. So you should be able to know where people around you are going to be and how they're going to act. But it is a little risky in intermission. So I think it's mostly fine to hold there if you're progging. Obviously, if you want to parse, you got to do it. Generally speaking, though, you should have room going back here or back here towards like the flat parts of these big trapezoids down here or down here. You'll see he actually will do it, so I can show you that, which should make it fairly safe. So he flips back over towards this direction where there's not really anything happening, which is generally your best bet there. So again, this is a very dangerous part. Don't be afraid to blur or nether walk this. Honestly, I think nether walking those final hits is pretty safe, because you will get it back for later on in the fight. See here, everything's coming back up. This is a great time to meta because nothing's happening. You don't have any phantoms for 6 seconds. Melee can never get these phantoms. This is always going to be unranged. So, just blast the boss here, do a ton of damage. And then the fight's going to basically repeat. That's basically it. This is just going to rinse and repeat now. Just things are going to be doing more damage because the Kyveza herself, more of these things will have masks on it, so more damage is going to go off. And there's just going to be scarier and scarier every time you go through the intermission. So there you go. Great part to darkness here again. And generally speaking, if you just VR on cooldown, you'll be fine. If you get one of these ads there, you should have more than enough time to fell rush over to where you need to be. Use your personal, come back in, DPS the boss for a few seconds for healing, and then run out to a safe spot. Daggers, dodge them. I think they're baited on players, but generally, it's just a spot to safe. And again, we're in a VR here. It's not even going to affect us much. Fell rush kind of towards in between 2 portals is your best bet, and just DPS, right? Not a ton to this fight. You get the general idea of being conservative and stuff, but as you get more used to the fight and as you know how people are going to react, and you get more gear, obviously, you can be a little more reckless. Sorry. So see this buff there? Those are the damage amps, and you see here, this is where he holds. So at this point, daggers are going off. Those daggers are going to kill you basically if they hit you. So while he could have sent it right there, it is generally pretty dangerous to do that because the daggers are going off, all the orbs are going off. So that's one I would maybe hold as well. But you probably could have fit it in. It was going to be really risky though, and high likelihood of dying. So probably not worth it, especially on prog. Maybe once you have a good parse and you're going for those upper echelon parses, you could throw that out there. But again, nothing too crazy. So yeah, fight's just going to repeat here. Nothing really else to touch on, but we'll just keep it going here for commentary's sake. We'll show you one more cycle here. I do want to show you the last set of ads. So yeah, so just, you know, being safe here. This is one of those ones where you maybe don't need to VR because it is pretty dangerous. Boom, right there, he got it. Didn't end up killing the priest, which is good. But that is also a VR you could maybe hold. Depends how tight your DPS check is for prog. Obviously for parsing you want to send it. But you know, if you're being safe on prog, it's a good one to hold because it gets dicey in there. And then we come up into I think this is the last meta of the fight. I don't think you're gonna get another one, and just rip it and ship it, just away you go, and the fight repeats. So at this stage, all these ads are going to have a mask. So you want to clear 2 and then 3. So tank goes into the crossbar there, clear some of them, pretty good stuff. And then after this one here, they're going to go through, and the boss is going to get a permanent damage amp. So when you get this one, you want to go run all the way through the other ad. So we'll just wait till training gets it, I guess. But he runs through the opposite ad even further away, and the bot's going to slice through. Again, nether walking there is great. Now he doesn't really have a defensive for this port. I guess he's blur. This is also like a fine port to blur. I think he got a call there. He also has potions and stuff, so it's like pretty safe there. But blur damage amp on the boss. Boss is just doing more damage. So nether walking here, totally fair. Blurring here as well. Just commit everything to live that. Use darkness here. And at this point, the boss is practically dead. Like, you're not really going to live that much into the final intermission here. So this one, more slices are going off. So there you go. Everything's happening. So this is kind of where, like, all right, maybe transmitter's not great. Tons of damage is happening. More slices going off everywhere. All these is doing more damage. So you see he even died there. At this point, everything is just kind of a shit show, but the boss is dead there pretty easily. At the end of that, everybody's over and over and over again until you die. It's actually pretty cool to see. And that is not really holding your stuff, just sending it, fell rushing between the portals, defensive usage on the explosions if you get one, kind of your best bets there. And just the end of the fight is really, really scary. Having your potions, having your health stones, having your nether walk for at that end there is going to be very good for letting you live and do damage there and just get through the fight. So there you go. That's it. Again, shout out to Train for the video. We will be doing Silken Court next time. I think probably next Monday, maybe the week after. I don't know yet. But we killed it. So we're on to Queen Anseric now. So shouldn't be too much longer till we have all the bosses done. But there you go. That is it for the Nexus Princess Ky'veza one. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you to Zooligan, rpalms46, Fear Redefined, Justin Penny, Callum Price, Gabrielle Correa, MagicMan133, Falafador and Dark Terror, Sky Elk, and Brad Wisniak. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel a little bit, consider becoming a channel member down below. And just thanks for watching the videos, everybody. Even if you don't become a channel member, you're still supporting me. So thanks, everybody. See you guys next time. Peace.